What's up YouTube? It's your girl Destiny Alexis, and today's video is all about nothing changes unless you change. Let me first start by saying that there's been many times in my life where I was afraid to make a change, and I was just afraid of there being no result after I decided to make a change, that I would never do anything in the first place. And ultimately, it just left me feeling stuck, left me overwhelmed, and left me feeling like my life was just stagnant and not moving at all. It wasn't until I realized that regardless of whatever change needs to be made, I first have to make up my mind within myself to take the first step in the first place, or else I'm going to be left in the same situation over and over and over again if I decide to do nothing about it. If you've been like me and you've been afraid to take that first action step, or you've been afraid to be seen trying, or you've been afraid of what other people might think of you making a change to begin with, I want you to know that all of that doesn't matter. What actually matters is how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your quality of life, and how you feel about where your life is going at this present moment. There has been many moments in my life where I felt like I was just confused and lost, and I felt like life was beating me up. And I got tired of that feeling. I got tired of sitting down, letting life trample me over, and letting my mind just take control of every situation, which ultimately led to me feeling depressed, more and more depressed, the more that I didn't do anything about it. So the first step to making a change is obviously making up your mind. You have to decide within yourself that you're tired of the way that you're living your life. You're tired of your quality, or the quality of the experience of life that you're having at this moment. You have to be tired and just ready for something new. If that's you and you've decided to make a change, then you need to make up your mind to say, I'm going to do something that is an action step forward towards the goal that I want in the first place. Which leads me to my next point. You're going to have a strategy in a way of the way that you think about making a change. You're gonna have some type of mindset to back you up when you're making your change. Whenever you set out an intention to make something happen or to do something different, disruption is likely gonna follow that. What do I mean by that? Whenever I say I'm gonna do good, something has to counteract that to eventually stop me from doing the good that I'm doing, to make me feel like I should just give up because every time I do something, it seems like something is there to stop me. But that's ultimately the enemy trying to get you to stop doing the very things you feel like you need to do. Same thing when you're trying to make a change. When you've been living a certain type of life, when you have been doing things a certain type of way, when you've had a certain type of mindset your whole life, when you have just been so stuck in your ways, whenever you decide to change something about that, you don't think that the enemy is going to try and stop you from doing that very thing that's good and that's going to bring light into this world? Of course it's going to happen. So the mindset that you have to develop is one to understand that whenever difficulties come, you're going to decide to choose resilience over anything else. Meaning, instead of feeling defeated when an obstacle comes your way, you're going to use that opportunity to propel you forward even more. So when an obstacle comes my way, I have to understand and know that the Bible says that all things are used together for the good of them that love the Lord. The Bible also says not to be offended or afraid or upset when obstacles come your way, because you're a child of God and those things are going to happen anyway. And so whenever something happens to try to stop you from making a change, from being good, from trying something new, from stepping out on an idea, whenever something tries to just stand in your way in general, use your mindset as an opportunity to propel you forward. The next thing I would say is change isn't going to happen just immediately. It's going to happen over time. So you have to understand that with resilience, you're going to know that although there's things that are coming in my way to try to stop me, I have to know that regardless, if I'm not seeing an immediate change, I know that there's a long-term change that's happening regardless. And that happens in life either way you look at it, whether you are making changes for good or whether you're staying the same. Ultimately, both of those routes are working against you or either for you. If I've been living in a certain type of life and living a certain type of way my whole life, and I've never made a change for the betterment of myself, I can believe that everything that I do going forward is going to be a tally mark against me because I'm not doing anything that's going to better myself. Versus if I'm constantly making changes, if I'm constantly realizing ways that I can improve myself, if I'm constantly doing self-improvement, if I'm constantly realizing things about myself that I'd like to change and I work towards changing that, and I take action steps towards that, then I can believe that I'm counting a tally mark for good, for the betterment of myself as I continue to go. And so if you're someone who is looking to make a change, you need to first make up your mind to do so. Secondly, you need to develop the mindset to understand that whenever obstacles come your way and whenever things are happening against you, that it's going to happen, but you have to understand that you have to be resilient through those times. And lastly, do something that you haven't done before for you to ultimately see the change that you've been looking for to begin with. And so I hope that this video was helpful in a way to help you think differently about making a change in your life, that you don't have to hyper focus on the change itself. You first need to start with yourself for you to become the person that's willing to make the change to begin with. Keep holding on.